All right, so oops, put that down there. Okay, so we have here a little bit more analyzing graphs, where we're given the graph and then we have to determine what the equation is. I feel like this might be the harder part to do, since most of the time we're given the graph and then we have to I'm sorry, we're given the equation or the inequality, we have to graph it, and we kind of like know what to do. But when it's reversed on us, sometimes it becomes a little more complicated. So again, it's a straight line. Sorry, so we're still talking about the general format, y equals mx plus b. The reason why I'm stressing that is because we're not going to have an equal sign here. They're not asking for an equation, they're asking for an inequality. So we're going to be having either one of these, okay? And the way that we would start this is, if possible, let's check out to see if there's a y-intercept. This is simply where the line crosses, right, crosses the y-axis. So that's here is our y-axis right there. And we see that that occurs here, okay, right at 4. So in our line, okay, and this is where I'll put the final answer, right? I can erase out this b, and instead I can write a 4, and it is a positive 4, so I'll leave the positive 4 like it is. Okay, this is going to be our slope, and the way that we do that is you always need to have 2 points. So here's one point, we'll use this one, and try to find another point. See, here is not a perfect point, right? Not really all that perfect, but as you come down and follow along, right here is perfect. Okay, right, it crosses right at the grid. So then we're always going to start at the leftmost side. That's this side. This is the leftmost side, and we're going to fall 1, 2, 3. So we fell 3. That's a negative because we're falling, and we go to the right 1. So our slope is going to be down 3, right 1. Okay, and we can write this here. Take this off right here, and we can write this as negative 3 over 1. All right, and finally, like we said in the beginning, we're not going to have this equal sign. We'll go ahead and just erase this equal sign here because we don't need that there. Okay, this is a dashed line. A dashed line implies that we are not dealing with these guys. All right, not dealing with them. So I'm going to go ahead and just erase them out. And if you're always using a graph from left to right, right? So you're starting at the left. Let me draw a little guy here, right? Little man thing here. Okay, as he's going down the stairs, okay, everything is being shaded below him. So this is going to be a less than sign, which is this guy. So that is what your equation is going to look like. And we can actually clean this up by writing y is less than. Now, instead of writing this, and this is totally okay to have, 100%, but to write it neater, you can just write negative 3x, right? Because negative 3 divided by 1 is just negative 3 plus 4. And this is going to be our inequality that represents the graph that they gave. Okay, so let's just do a couple more of them. Here again, we're writing the inequality. So first thing we're going to look at is a couple of things, and as you look at this, we should start thinking about a couple of things. I'm going to go ahead and just write out what the 4 of them are. Okay, and we can probably start with the inequality this time, and we can do that by looking at the graph here. And look at this line. What kind of line is this? Solid or dashed? It's definitely a solid, so we're going to cross these out. All right, a solid line usually will always have this or equal to symbol at the bottom, and then if we're starting from the left, okay, he's going down, 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 is going down, and where is being shaded? As he's going down this slide, okay, above is being shaded, above implying a greater than. So this is easily going to be y is greater than or equal to, okay, our slope. Now you can choose whatever 2 points you want, okay, literally any 2 points. I like to choose the ones that are perfect, like right there is perfect, and right there is perfect. And you're not going to start from here. You're going to start from the leftmost side, right? Here's your left, and here's our right. So whichever dot is on the leftmost side, that's here. And we're going to go down 1, so that's a negative if we're going down, and then you should always be going to the right, 1, 2. So our fraction is going to be down 1 over 2, okay, x, and our y-intercept where this line crosses the y-axis, right? So you see, it's not a good point. Let me see if we can put that in a different color. Here's 2, so here's 3, and it's right between 3 and 4. So we can call that 3.5 plus 3.5. Okay, if you have a graphing calculator, you can actually hit math, and then the first one says, I should probably write that in a different thing, right? If you have a graphing calculator and you're able to use it, you can enter this, so you can put in 3.5, press the math button, okay? Then there's gonna be then this is gonna pop up. You're gonna press the one that says FRAC, frac, which stands for fraction, and then you're gonna press enter, all right? And then you'll press enter again. And what that's gonna do is that it's gonna create a fraction for you. So this final thing is going to be negative 1 over 2x plus, now you can totally have 3.5, but they usually write it as a fraction. Since slope is as a fraction, it only makes sense that we have this. It doesn't make sense to have a fraction and a decimal, right? It's not the same, it's not uniform. All right, let's see if we have time for one more. I think we have time for one more, right? Okay, so what is the graph of 2x minus 4y is greater than 6? Now here we're given 4 different types of graphs. Okay, so our job is just to figure out which one. Well, anytime you're dealing with a line and you're graphing, you always want to make sure it's in y equals mx plus b form. It's y equals mx plus b. So how do we do that? I'm going to look for the y is, here's my y, it's attached to this 4, okay, and it has a negative next to it. I'm going to keep that there, we're not touching that. Okay, so we're going to move everything else over. So we'll start by taking the negative 2x. Now the reason why we're moving this is because we want y by itself. Right? So when you do this, cancels out. All right, this drops straight down, negative 4y. This sign drops straight down. Okay, and these cannot be combined. So we're going to keep it as negative 2x. See how we have the mx portion goes first, that's this piece, plus 6, right? 6 is positive here. And finally, we want to get y by itself. See, it's just a y there. So to get rid of this negative 4, we're going to divide each side, each term, really, by negative 4. So negative 4 divided by negative 4 cancels out. The y drops down. Now, what happens when you divide by negative? Okay, the inequality symbol does flip. So it becomes a less than, right? And a negative and negative becomes a positive. So this becomes 2 over 4 x. Positive and a negative is a negative 6 over 4. Now, if you're, as I was doing that, if you came up with a different answer, that's okay, because I'm pretty sure what you came up with was this. Okay, notice that we can divide or simplify this fraction, and it becomes 1/2 x. We can divide top and the bottom here by 2, and becomes negative 3 over 2. All right, and this is actually the more correct version, because you should always have it in the simplest form. And this tells us a lot of things. Okay, so this tells us, one, where we're going to start. Okay, so we're starting at negative 3 over 2. Now if you put that in a calculator, what you're going to get is negative 1.5 on the y-axis. And you know, we should probably pause right there and let's look through all the examples that they gave us and see which one does not start at negative 1.5. So here's 0, here's negative 1, right? So negative 1.5. Now if we were to draw a graph, okay, if this is negative 1 and this is negative 2, negative 1.5 is going to be in between these two. Okay, so here it is not in between them. Okay, it is actually over it. So this is not going to be one of them. Okay, here's negative 1, here's negative 2. It looks like it is. This is a possibility. Okay, again, here's negative 1, here's negative 2, and it's above that. So this is not a possibility. Here's negative 1, here's negative 2. It is in the middle. This is a possibility. Right? So the next thing we'll look at is then the slope. It's positive 1/2, which means that we're going to be moving up by 1 and moving right by 2. So if we start from here, Okay, now if I'm starting at a half, when I move up, it's not here. I'm moving up one whole unit. So if I'm at a half here, I'm going up a half here, right? So I move up one. So I'm gonna do it again. Up one, right two. Okay, see that? See I'm in the middle? Up one whole unit, right two. So this one's looking pretty good. All right, let's go over here. So I start here, going up one, right two. Up one, right two. This is looking pretty good too. So then the last thing that we have to look at, because they're both going up by the same amount, is the inequality sign. And this is a less than. So since we're going up, okay, we need to be shading below. It's a less than. This is the only one that has a shading of below, so this is going to be your answer. SWER. Okay?